and a half inch. Compact, you know, it's not considered a mid-torque. Yeah, it is. I can get close in here. 208 5C. Probably 40. Better than an impact driver. Difference is flex 24 volt battery. Okay. I'm going to run through all the tools here. We'll go back to some regular testing on more expensive tools sometime next week when it cools down. So other than that, it's pretty hot here in Illinois, or as I call it, Hellinois. We're going to test a bunch of tools here. Wow, that's impacting. Okay. Let's put some in over here. Battery. Got to hold the battery on. This is not a high-end adapter. I bought this adapter 2 years ago. Look at that lighting up. It's the strangest thing I ever did, see? Okay, drop the cell. Say this is their compact impact wrench, the latest generation. So I'm putting 24 volts through a cheap tool. This battery is only a 2.5 amp hour. It's probably $50. Costs more than the tool. You see if anybody's talking about anything. Yeah, I got the 964. Yep, got it. Let me go get it. There she is. DeWalt DCF964, 3/4 inch drive with a little 4 amp power pack tablet cell battery. Okay. Like I say, here's the 964. Let's go. Speed 2. Speed 3. This is Mega Godzilla. I called the 961 Godzilla. This is Mega. And those only get this on sale at this present moment. Not Acme, not Ohio, Home Depot. $350. It's probably the old stock, you know, before the prices start to kick up through the roof to probably $500. This normally lists for like $460. I love the sound of it in Speed 3. Now I'm going to sell my 961 to somebody local that's willing to give me $300 bare tool for it. All the tools are going up, you know, due to tariffs. Testing next week with it. Yep. Yeah, like I say, it's supposed to have way more power than a 9. What do you expect? This 3/4 inch anvil. Sure as heck beats the 1/2 inch anvil. And if I don't get what I want out of the 961, I'll just keep it. Because these tools are starting to go way up in price. You know, that's just a little 4-amp power pack. Okay. Let me remove this. I like pulling the batteries off because you'll drain the cells when you put a adapter. I'm only buying 3/4 inch drive high torques now. No more halves. I even sold my rigid high torque 1/2 inch drive. Sold that last week to a guy up north of me. He came by and bought it. I even sold it with the 8-amp EXP 21/700 cell, not tabless battery. I sold it to him for $170. I didn't want it. In the future, when Rigid redesigns their high torque, because that was what they redesigned it 3 or 4 years ago. They gotta make a new one. Then I'll buy the 3/4 inch. I know they have a 3/4 inch drive at Home Depot, but I don't want it. It's not strong enough. It's going to have to be taken on. It's going to have to be putting out the power of the old, the old 2nd generation Milwaukee. What I'm hoping for is Milwaukee comes out with a 2967, or the 3rd generation high torque. I'm hoping they make a 3/4 inch version of that, in the future. That would be nice. But I won't sell my 1/2 inch version. There's no way I'm going to sell my 1/2 inch version of the 2967. I have a boot for it, and I like it, but I do want to sell the 961. If I can't get it 300 out of it, I'll keep it. I've been advertising on Facebook Marketplace, but apparently no one understands on Facebook Marketplace how much tools really cost. And my tools don't get abused. They just get used in my Gen high torque. I now have the new 964. I have two Bosch high torques, the 770, the most powerful one that they make, and I have the Flex. So I have 5 or 6 high torques. So I'm doing pretty good. Alligator, I'll put a picture on my YouTube channel. Alligator, I have 10 high torques. It was in mint condition. The guy looked at it, yeah, it's yours. He was going to use it to change his wheels on his SUVs. Whatever. I didn't want it. He came from. I sold my rigid high torque, to a guy by $170 on Facebook Marketplace. But I do have 10 high torques, so I'm going to post them on my channel, in a post. But I do, if I don't get what I want out of the 961, I'll just keep it. I'm not going to give it away. My God, it's in mint condition. I bet you it's in better shape than most guys. I use them for shop use. It's not a scratch on it. It's probably got 1 hour of use. This probably has more use, Sometimes these act up. You gotta. Yep. You gotta do this. Just like that. Okay. Now what am I going to run? Well, let's put it back on here. Like I say, I got to find some suitable tests on cheap. The people that, people that go on Facebook on cheap. The people that, people that go on Facebook Marketplace assume that some mechanic used a high torque for the past 2 years. Marketplace assume that some mechanic used a high torque for the past 2 years because that 961 came out 2 years ago. I probably used it for 1 hour altogether. 961 came out 2 years ago. I probably used it for 1 hour altogether. No. The only tool I did beat up real good was my DCF964. That thing spit more grease than a drunk spits puke. So I dumped it and I got rid of the 887. Sold both of those, and the 860 smokes them. So, kind of hoping Rigid would come out with their oil hydraulic, but that ain't happening until next year. Okay, now let's see here. I'm hoping that they come out with it, but maybe that's the wrong one. Always have problems with this. Take the battery loose too. I love battery adapters. In fact, I have battery adapters for my DeWalt tools to run Milwaukee batteries. Maybe I'll try to run a 12 amp Forge battery on the 964 and see what it does. So if anybody out there in YouTube land that's close by wants to buy my 961, $300, that's a bargain. Maybe I'll just run it on the other one. Put it in a previous hole too. This is a Bauer. Let's just leave this one in. Okay. Put the battery. See anybody's talking about. I would imagine it does, but the 12 amp flexible, I don't know, is that 21/700 cells? I know the 9 amp flexible battery I have is 21/700 cells. They say that's the best one. But I'd say, like I say, I got the adapter, so I could run. Yeah, like I say, I didn't know the 12 amp was 21/700 cells. I knew the 9 amp is. Amp is 18650s. What I'd like to have DeWalt do is take their flexible batteries and make them tap a 9. No, wait a minute, I'll forget a 9, since the tabless cells way less than 10 amp hour. See, that way then you have your. Let me go get a socket. Like I say, I'd like to have them make a flexible battery tablets now. Milwaukee's got a pipeline. How come DeWalt doesn't have their event like Milwaukee does? And I'd stubby on order. It should be in soon, I'm hoping. I ordered it from Text Choice. I want to order from Acme or Ohio. They take forever to get shit. So yeah, well, so is my signal right now. And like I say, I wish DeWalt had their own pipeline event. You know, Milwaukee has. It's coming up on the 21st. I mean, I know DeWalt does World of Concrete, but everybody does. Okay, let's try this. As soon as I find out what this is. Okay. Wow, it's a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to. Yeah. Yeah, I got the 8 amp power pack and the 4 amp power pack. Yeah. Well, there's one battery I did sell. I sold my 1.7 power stack. Got rid of it with the DCF964 and 887. I didn't want it anymore. That was my oldest power stack battery. I don't really care. I like a 3.5 power stack. Absolutely the best. It's better than a 5 and better than a 1. Everybody's still there. My internet seems to. Well, are we having solar flare-ups or what? My internet's been cutting out all day. At least 2 of them. Maybe a 4 amp. Well, no, let's not do a 4 amp because that wouldn't be much for 60. Make it a 6 amp and a 10 amp. It'd be 3 point something. I wouldn't mind that. Because I do have like I say, I do have a and that's the only thing I have that's 60 volts. So I'd have to be looking to maybe buy, I don't know. Well, not an SDS drill. Those things are too expensive. Maybe I'd consider buying, I don't know, 60 volt. Too bad they don't make a drill. Can you imagine making something like the 1007, but make it the 10007 and make it 60 volt? That'd be kind of overkill, but I'm sure they got other tools I could buy with 60 volt, you know. Yeah, I got in fact, I got another tool I'll be, I know what I want for 60. I want the rear handle. Well, they call it the new Milwaukee and the new anything else. You know, their rear handle flex volt saw, 60 volts. You know, it's $330 at the Home Depot. You can't get it any cheaper anywhere else. I never see it on sale for like $270. It went way up. You know, 60 volts. I think it probably, if I would get it, it'd probably smoke the new rear handle Milwaukee. So, okay, we'll quit this. Yeah, like I say, flex volt grinder. Yeah, I do too. I have the 418. I'd like what is that thing called? The 4, whatever it is, it's a 9 inch. Went up to over $400. So I like to get that flexible rear handle. They saw us, in fact, next week, or let me to the end of it. I'm going to have a saw competition. So as I got the new, you know, the new. Let me bring. Just got it. I'm not going to open some sawing. But that's their latest one, you know, it comes with the 8 amp power pack and the fast charger and all the stuff. I also had the new 803 multi-head drill coming in this week too. So, but we'll do all this at different times. Right now, you know, it's too hot out to play with saws. Right now, I'm not going to sit here and try to saw in the dark. Makes too much noise for everybody. See what anybody's talking about. Yep. Like I say, that's the latest saw from them. Now I got that through Acme, discounted, $280 shipped to my house. So that's a pretty good price. And like I say, for the 964, I only paid like 300 and. I'm sure once the 11 available 964 DeWalt's up at the Home Depot, they're gone. You know any new shipments they get now to be terrible? Well, let me see here. Okay. Good. Everybody's still there. I'm having problems with my internet. I really want to do a saw off here with all my saws. You know, I got all the Milwaukees and I got the one DeWalt. Some, you know how that is. Other than that, like I say, yep. But I don't want to open that saw up right now. I got too much stuff going on. That'll be another time in another video. In the meantime, I still want to do the DeWalt DCD 801 versus the Ryobi. You know. The Ryobi. Yeah, a little bit smaller than that. A little bit smaller than that even. How small is it? Okay. Trying to find the right stuff here. Maybe I'll just try to go with whatever I can do. So anything else going on? Like I say. Now let's move on to the high torque. Let's forget that. Better yet, let's move on to the SDS drill. Okay. Okay, let's move on to that. Let me put some earmuffs on. Okay, there's a Bauer. I got this for 30 bucks or 40 bucks last summer. It was on sale. Now it's back to 70. It's an SDS. And this is a 1/2-inch bit. And let's turn it. Okay. As long as everybody can see me. Not bad for $40. You can't touch that for 40 bucks. As long as you don't use it 12 hours a day, it probably won't blow up and it's brushless. But you will need a better battery. This is only a 5 amp hour. Okay. Now, let's move on to the high torque. I don't think I can run the flex battery on it. What do you know? I can run it. Okay. Down to 1 cell on a 2.5 regular 24 volt 18650 cell battery. We're going to try to remove all these legs. I installed this one a couple days ago with this. The rest I installed with my Bosch. Wow. What do you know? It's down to 1 cell and it's flashing. Let's take that off. As far as I have better internet, I'm closer to the house. Okay. Down 1 cell. Wow. Okay, let's try to move this as a concrete thing. Look how big that is, but it's for putting in concrete. Let's go back to this. Okay. What do you know? 24 volts on your Bauer. This Bauer is only $130, and this battery is probably half that price. Now I'll drop 2 cells. Man, it's not even warmed up yet. Okay. Okay. I'm not even going to run my 964. It'd be nice to run it. Let me finish up over here. Okay. Now, what tool am I going to run? I had to take those earmuffs off to kill my ears. Okay, let's see what's next. Well, you know what I could run? Let's stop running this. Okay. Let's see what else we can run. Down to one cell. This battery has problems. It's losing cells. This is one of their recalled batteries. You can tell the flex battery that's getting a recall. The old ones have the big writing on the 2.5. The ones that are good, the new models, the small writing. You got to go with the small writing. And these batteries aren't recalled. These old ones, recalled. Big writing on the side. Okay. Let us run. I just open up the drill. About 4 months ago, I bought this drill from Harbor Freight. This is their Bauer. And I know it's a cheap drill. I only paid $40 for it. Let's see here. Recommends you run to 3 amp. It's a 2092 CRB. This is a cheap drill. It's half the price of their Hercules. This thing has 525 inch-pounds. It only goes 0 to 450 in speed 1 and 1800 in speed 2. And it only has 5,800 blows in speed 1 and 23,000 in concrete in speed 2. Okay, I made them give me a replacement. I broke the chuck on it. I broke the chuck on it. They gave me a new one. I broke it after a week. Well, it's my kind of abuse. Kind of was running some pretty big lags into some wood. So I've had this battery now, May, June, July. 4 months I've been 4 months I've been sitting on this drill. I decided now it's time to break it out, I guess. And I got an extended warranty on it. So it's a cheap drill. What do you expect for $40? I think the warranty was $10. Here's the handle. Like I say, it's a cheap $40 drill. Like I say, if you're not a rich man, if you already have the Bauer battery and charger, tools in and get them on sale. Let's say you're Joe homeowner and don't want to spend on the Hercules, but you should anyhow. Okay, now let me get the battery. Okay, where did I put it? Okay, it's on the SDS drill. Like I say, this is a cheap drill. The battery costs more than the drill. That's speed 1 with the clutch. Boy, that sounds weak. Okay. Let us try to figure out what we're going to do. We're not using flex batteries because I'm pretty sure they won't work, but let me try them. I'm pretty sure they won't work. They worked on the model I bought at the beginning of the vehicle before it broke. I'll be shocked if it works. Nope. It don't work. I knew it wouldn't. This battery's a little warm because it's putting out power for 18 volts. And this 18 volts, I'm surprised I haven't cooked any of my power tools. Like, I don't use them 20. Why would I use them? 20 minutes? It ain't going to kill them. I wouldn't recommend anybody puts a flex battery with an adapter on a. Like I say, I heard that. Like I say, I heard that Harbor Freight's coming out with a brand new Google lineman impact wrench on the internet or YouTube or Google. And it'll be an impact wrench with a 7/16 instead of a 1/4 inch that you could run. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm sure of that, unless you're a lineman there. This is 7/16. Look how thick this is. Well, I have plans to get a new DeWalt that they just came out with. It's not cheap at all. $350 that I could run these on. Then I could put drill bits in it that have 7/16 on the end instead of trying to run it on an impact high torque. And by the way, it's based off the 891, which is the best mid torque in the planet. Well, Harbor Freight's going to be coming out with a new lineman impact wrench, and I hope it comes out soon because instead of 350, it'll probably just be 150. Of course, I'll get the DeWalt one anyhow. Then I might actually sell my 891 then to somebody for $150. Okay, now let me figure out what I'm doing here before the internet conks out again. Okay, we got all these fasteners here. We can't remove these really with this drill. Then you come up with something. Boy, is this slow. That's in speed 1, no wonder why. They put it in speed 1 from the factory. That figures. Another one in an extended warranty. Still not that fast. Okay, speed 2. The clutch is setting 1. Let's see what it'll do before it kicks in. Okay, now let's turn it to speed 2. Let's see how much further it'll drive it. Okay, speed 3. Yeah, like I say. Now, well, I was rudely interrupted by the effing internet. Speed 4. Speed 6. It drives it all the way in. Speed 7. We're there. Speed 8. Go to speed 9. Wow. Speed 10. Wow, it's almost there. Speed 11. Let's go one more. Speed 12. Okay, now let's get another one out. Now we start on speed 12. Wow, it did it all the way. Let's back that off. Let's go speed 11. And let's move it over here. That was too easy. Okay. Let's go speed 12. And let's run a different one. Put it here. Everybody see me? Good. Let me reposition this camera. I don't mind cheap power tools. You can't always show power tools that cost $300, $400, $500. The most expensive power tools I have are my expensive high-end drills Probably the high-end impact wrenches, and that super whole hog from Milwaukee that's over $400. They do make a whole hog. Harbor Freight makes a Hercules that's only 150 bucks. It's not going to be a Milwaukee, but hey, who can afford to buy Milwaukees all the time? Okay, speed 12 with the clutch. Wow. Let's go 13 and see if we can finish driving this. What do you know? Let's go with this. Speed 14. Okay, let's go speed 15. Not everybody can afford a high-end drill. This drill is, I got a couple chucks for my high-end drills. You know, I got 2 really high-end German drills. You know, they're contain chucks on them and everything else. Just the adapters alone is $60, $70, $80, twice as much as this drill. But what do you expect? They're German. Okay, that was in speed 15. Let's go speed 16. Let's go speed 17. Okay. Speed 18 is the final speed on here before you do every other mode. Okay. Now, let's just go for it. Let's see how far it'll sink before I have to go too far. Now, let's pick that back up. There's a little bit longer videos. I'm taking it easy here. Okay. Now, let's remove these. Now, let me get a glove on. I still am not feeling good. You end up getting what I get, walking pneumonia, go to the hospital as soon as you think you're not feeling good. I thought I had a summer cold. I had walking pneumonia for probably 2 or 3 weeks. I finally went July 4th in the evening, and they hospitalized me for 4 days, and I've been on meds ever since. Granted, lost about 40 or 50 pounds because I'm just not hungry, but the doctor said I'll be coughing for at least a few months. My lungs aren't up to 100%, but they're better than what they were. My whole lung was full of stuff. It took 2 days to drain it. You don't want walking pneumonia. Believe me, you don't. Like I said, this is 18. This is 18. Let's say, yep. This ain't a bad drill for $40. It ain't a Hercules, but it ain't bad. I wouldn't exactly endorse this because they don't endorse me, even though I got their hat on. This is the anniversary hat. Okay. Okay, let's take this out. Let's turn it in drill mode. And let's get ready to do some drilling. Let me try to focus over here on the end. Over here, I got all this distance. This is only should only be 1.5 inches. No, 2 inches. It's 2 inches thick. Okay. Now, I'm going to put, I can gap it over here. You know, there's room. So, let me come up with a bit. Let's not make it too big of a bit now. We'll break the chuck. I think this can handle. I think this could handle. I think this is. Yeah. This is 3/4 inch. Okay. It's got a decent chuck on it. I'd say the chuck on is probably about as good as that DeWalt DCF964. And this has a steel chuck. The DeWalt DCD Atomic, 794 has a plastic one. This at least has metal. I'll to see if I can take this off and put it on the DeWalt and put the plastic one on here. It's probably do that to be cheaper than trying to go out and buy a chuck for a DeWalt drill. Okay, let's try this. Speed 2. Let's go through right next to it. Okay, let's go here. Not too bad. This ain't a bad drill, as long as you don't beat it up. This ain't a Hercules. It's half the price. Not like the color. Reminds me of who? Milwaukee. It's actually more or less an orange, but you know what I mean. So, see what the battery's at. Still fully charged too. Not bad. So, I give this a seal of approval. Just don't plan on working around your house more than a day. And try to get a bigger, at least a 5 amp hour. So it's a 1/2 inch bit, and it worked. So, other than that, I'm beat up right now. We've been online off and on for an hour here with the internet. So, okay, guys. Eric the Bearded Tool Guy signing off.